Hello everybody. Hey, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do another in the car book review. Okay, so the book for review this time is For Your Eyes Only. And this one was different. Out of any of the Bond books so far from Ian Fleming, this one was different. It is a collection of short stories, but it felt rather jumbled that way. There were some really high key points to me that I really enjoyed. One was some of the actual conversations between Bond and some of the other characters. They had those full out exact conversations in the movie For Your Eyes Only. So that was kind of fun. I enjoyed that part of it. I enjoyed hearing those actual conversations being in the book.
It is Christatos you want, not me. He told you about himself. He's the one with the powerful connections. Locke works for him, not for me. I smuggle gold, diamond, cigarettes, pistachio nuts, but no heroin.
And then, because some of them were pretty close to word for word, hearing them, or just seeing them in the book, you could hear the voices of the actor or the actress saying those lines from the movie, and it kind of just pulls you more into the book.
It was my parents they killed, not yours.
Because it just you've heard it, you've seen it, so you can really visualize it when it's in the book. So that was pretty fun. That was cool to see actual conversations from the book being in the movie. And the characters, some of the characters' names, a lot of those names were the same. Their mannerisms, they seemed like they captured a lot of their mannerisms correctly. Except for the main actress in For Your Eyes Only, her name was different, and she was a little bit different. They didn't make a big thing about her being Greek and things like that in the book. So that was more for the movie. There was a whole section in the book, probably the longest section in the book. Actually, no, there were two sections in the book that were not in the movie. So it's kind of like the movie was made out of a couple of different sections in the book, combined with embellishment of extra plot and story thrown in. So that's kind of how the movie was made. But there were a couple of pretty big portions of the book that are not in the movie, like, at all. Almost kind of just like, told a story. One of them just told a long story, and then the other one was like a full out side story that oftentimes you would think maybe it gets used in a different Bond movie, but I don't think a big section of this was really even in any of the other James Bond movies. So it's just been left out. It wasn't really all that exciting anyway. So it's not like I would need to see it in a movie. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, if you're a Bond fan and you want to read the Bond books, well then yeah, definitely read it. But out of any of them so far, and this is where it's really shocking to me, because For Your Eyes Only is one of my favorite books. or not books, sorry, one of my favorite Bond movies. And I was expecting, okay, I'm really excited about this book. I finally got to this book. I'm probably gonna love it. You could just about skip this one. You could just about skip it. I was shocked. I was like, wow, didn't see that coming. To where I'd be not disappointed, but really just it seemed like filler. Yeah, maybe that's what it felt like. It felt like went from where Ian Fleming was writing an all-out spy adventure, James Bond mission, and this kind of felt like filler. Now, if we get into the next book and it's a full-out mission, beginning to end, bit of a complicated story, then I can definitely see For Your Eyes Only being a filler book till got to the next one. That's the feel it had to it. And I would almost be like, wow, yeah, you could just about skip that one and just go to the next book where you get an actual adventure. So yeah, that's how I kind of felt about this one. It struck me very interesting. Couple of the stories, I mean it's worth a read. They were interesting, but nothing really exciting. There's nothing really keeping you on the edge of your seat on this one. Just like, oh, how's this going to turn out? Or it just kind of tells a story, and you're like, okay, well, that was a story. Thanks for telling it, but not really impactful. You do get to see into Bond's thoughts, maybe a little bit more on this. He does a lot of thinking, so Ian Fleming captures a lot of Bond's inner thoughts in this one, because it felt like even James Bond was put into just awkward social interaction. Like, he's in the middle of these stories, and it was almost even awkward for Bond being in the story, and so a lot of his thoughts are just kind of like, well, how do I navigate this? Should I act like this, or should I act a different way? And then he just kind of, he almost seems like just like, well, I'll listen to this guy's story and just to pass the time. And that may just be how this book was maybe intended, because even Bond seemed like he was just biding his time in some of these stories. And so maybe that's how Ian Fleming wrote it. As the reader, you too, we're just biding our time, just because we had some time to kill, so we figured we'd read this book, read this story. And that's kind of how Bond's approach was on some of it. He just like, I'll just kill some time. So that's my review for Your Eyes Only, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, bye.